Next parameter is NPA. Net NPA, we have reduced by 21 basis points to 3.21%, and gross NPA also we have reduced. It has come down to 8.42%. In absolute terms also it has come down. Now coming back to the CRAR, this time we have done a very good, I can say, performance, and it is at 14.37% as far as CRAR is concerned, and Tier 1 it is at 11.41%. There is a drastic increase in this one as far as the capital base is concerned. Slippages, yes, everyone is concerned in this. Excluding stray, the slippages are around 3,200 crores. Stray, the exposure is up to 3,200 crores. As the regulator requires 15% provision has to be made in stray, we made 50%. So in that way, we have taken care about the stray so that going forward, there will not be much pain. And since beginning, we are telling that our recovery will be more than the slippages. This quarter, the reduction is NPA is about 7,258 crores as against the slippages of 6,800, including stray. Cash recovery is a bit attractive this time. It is at 3,717 crores, in which from return of accounts, we have recovered about 715 crores. And upgradation is about 2,671 crores. Retail NPA percentage is less than 2%. And in housing loan, the NPA percentage is 0.97, and education, vehicle, and personal loans, it is less than 2. So retail as a whole, the NPA percentage is 1.35%. And growth we have shown in terms of business, in terms of credit, it is about 5.8%. This is overall credit growth. Corporate, this quarter we were a bit cautious, whereas in the Q3 FY22, we will be aggressive in corporate financing. And also retail, we are growing 10+%, and we continue this growth going forward. Agriculture, we have grown at about 14%. MSME, quarter on quarter, we have grown about 2.9%. Year on year, it is almost flat. And then corporate, year on year, there is a slight growth. Quarter on quarter, there is some degrowth. But this quarter, we will be concentrating. With these remarks, I am open for discussion and question and answers.
Thank you, sir. I will request all participants to please ask the question by raising your hands. Please raise your hands and I will unmute you to ask a question. To begin, we have a question from the line of Mr. Madhu Kela. So please unmute yourself and go ahead.
Good afternoon, sir. And
good afternoon, sir.
How are you, sir?
Fine, fine, sir. Thank you. Thank you for participating.
Yeah, sir, thank you so much. Congratulations to you and the entire team. I think our conviction and belief is paying off in public sector bank. And I'm glad that Canara Bank is leading the pack here. So congratulations on good set of numbers. Just 3-4 clarifications, sir. One
Please.
Is the recovery of 1,700 crore rupees of Diwan housing, which we have done. How much of it is being taken in the P&L account, and how much is being taken without P&L, sir?
Sir, as far as this 1,700 crores which we got, we have again made aggressive provisioning, and
Yes,
in this quarter 2,200 crores additional provisioning we have made as an prudent measure. So
Yes,
basically whatever we have recovered, we have again plowed back into the provisioning to make the balance sheet strong. Nothing
Yes,
has
sir.
been taken to P&L.
Nothing. So in our operating profit of 5,600 crore, there is no contribution of Diwan housing recovery.
No, sir. Rather from this, we have made additional provisioning of about 500 crores. Additional.
Okay.
1,000 from 700 plus 500, 2,200 crores.
Okay, sir. The other thing, sir, which is very little perplexing, your tax rate is even higher than the FERA companies, 42-41% provision which we are making. So can you help me understand why such high tax rates we are making provisions?
My chief general manager, who is an expert in the tax of our bank, I request him to kindly reply.
Yes, sir.
Sir, this considering our operative profit and the lesser provision and NPA provision, and more towards the unlocking of the capital. As an overall view, we have increased that. We have contributed the more. We have debited more, almost 910 crores to the profit and loss account. Here
Yes,
there are
sir.
two things. So since we have accumulated loss of more than 18,000 crores, there is in fact there is no in as per our tax return there is no outgo of tax. But now our DTA is one of the lowest among the peer banks. But we have a long-term view of, but it's a more than 10% of the CET. So any reduction in the DTA will help us in improving our CET. And as a measure of capital unlocking, we and also through the overall tax management, we are making the more provision for the tax.
But will you continue to do that in the future also, sir? At 40% provision of the taxation?
No, as long as it is profitable for us in all aspects, from the capital, unlocking of capital and other aspects, we are continuing to do that.
Yes. Okay. So the other point is that MD sir, you had guided in the beginning of the year for the slippage of around 15,000 crores, and which was got reiterated in the last quarter after the last quarter numbers were declared. Now in the first two quarters, we have done roughly 11,100 crores of slippage, including the slippage of Shrey. So are you still confident, sir, that this 15,000 crore number will be maintained? I am confident that you will do it, but I am just wanting to make sure that all of us know your mind.
Yeah, sir, here Q1 FY22, the slippages were 4,250 crores.
Yes, sir. That's
Out
right,
of
sir.
this 4,250 crores, 1,770 crores already we have recovered and upgraded.
That's right, sir.
So the current quarter Q2 FY22 is about 6,500. So 6,500 plus about 2,000 is only 9,500 crores as on date. Because already what has been slipped in Q1, out of that 1,770 is already upgraded or recovered.
Okay,
So as we have given the guidance that the slippages will be maximum 15,000 crores, out of which as on date 9,500 crores is there. So still there is a gap of about 7,000 crores. However, in the coming 6 months, out of this 9,500 crores also we will be recovering. So keeping the slippages at 15,000 crores will be very comfortably we will be doing. And as we said, our recoveries will be more than slippages. In the current quarter also, if you see, our recoveries are 7,000 plus. That is more than the slippages. So at the end of the day, we'll see that the net NPA and gross NPA in absolute terms, it will go down. And that is what we are demonstrating quarter on quarter, including Q2 FY22, sir.
So you remain confident that our slippage will not be more than 15,000 crores?
By 31st March 22, the slippages as on that day, we are projecting and confident that it will be less than 15. And recoveries will be more than that.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir. Now the other thing is that the other income, which was, let's say, in June 20 was 2,650 crores. And it has been steadily rising. And in this quarter, it was 4,268 crores, other income. Is there anything which we should read in this other income, the way it has risen? B, do you think it is maintainable at this level?
Sir, if
and
you
if
see
you
the
can just
quarter
explain a little bit, and what does the other income constitute? You know, what do we all include in the other income?
Yes. For example, if you see quarter on quarter,
yes, sir,
the fee-based income is increasing, and non-interest income is increasing because of 2-3 parameters. One is fee-based income, which consists about our processing charges and other commission expenses. Those are steadily increasing because now we are underwriting the big loan proposals where we are getting good commission. Because of which the traction is there, and fee-based income, as you see, year on year it has grown by 20%. Quarter on quarter it has grown by 9.42%. Here, service charges, miscellaneous, commission, processing charges are increasing and going to increase. So there we are not worried. Second point is treasury income. Treasury income, it is doing exceptionally well. But as you say that going forward, sustaining this time of income over a period of many quarters may not be feasible. For that, what we are doing is, even if there is any shortfall in the treasury by the recovery in return of accounts and also in other accounts. For example,
Okay.
recovery in return of accounts, this quarter we have recovered about 715 crores, out of which 584 crores has gone for our other income. So this is going to be more coming quarters. Our emphasis will be more in recovering more and more amount from the return of accounts. The other
Okay.
point is regarding the receipts, other receipts. Other receipts consist of PSLC and other things. This is seasonally, every quarter we will be getting something. For example, PSLC, last year it was about 700 crores. This time we already crossed 900 crores. And still there is scope for us to make some profit in this one. And this will be every year feature. Again, in next Q1 FY23, again we will be booking profit from the sale of PSLC certificates. And other income also, nowadays we are diversifying and we are aggressive where we are going to get some fee-based income. So if you see the non-interest income from 3,100 crores, it has gone to 4,700 crores March. Again, March is a year where we will be loading maximum charges. Again, in June, it was 4,100, September 4,200. And I think going forward, we will be sustaining this 400 plus non-interest income with more emphasis on recovery in return of accounts and fee-based income. So we feel it is sustainable since in the last many quarters we are continuing this and we have a clear roadmap to increase this income and we focus on that, sir.
Thank you, sir. Sorry, I'm just taking a little bit time, sir. Just last two questions.
No, it's a pleasure. It's a pleasure, sir.
One, sir, on loan growth. Obviously, our loan growth has been very tepid in the last 2 quarters. And but if I see the loan growth of private sector banks have been pretty healthy in the last 2 quarters. So can you help me understand what is the bank's plan to increase the loan growth, sir?
Our guidance is that minimum will be growing by 7.5% as on
Yes, sir.
31st March 2022.
Sure.
And as on data, let me bifurcate the credit growth into 2 parts. One
Sure.
part is corporate, second part is retail.
Yes, sir.
Retail, we said that we will be growing at 10% plus.
Yes, sir.
Q1 also we have grown by 10% plus. Q2 also we have grown by 10.46%. And even
Yes, sir.
agriculture we are growing at 13.92%.
Yes,
So
sir.
retail healthy growth is there. And the most important thing is in retail, our NPA percentage is less than 2. Housing
Yes, sir.
loans, it is less than 1. So we are
Yes,
very aggressive in retail growth. And even quarter on quarter, if you see the growth as far as the retail is concerned, is more than 3%. So
Yes, sir.
annualized, if you take, it will be 12% minimum. So, and my total credit portfolio, it consists of 57% retail and 43% corporate.
Yes,
So
sir.
regarding the 57%, we are already growing more than 8%.
Yes,
Now
sir.
the question of corporate. Corporate, we have already a book of about 20,000 crores, which is underwritten and to be disbursed.
Yes,
And
sir.
apart from that, this quarter, last quarter, we have consolidated. In Q1, we have grown well under corporate. Q2, we have consolidated. We have concentrated on retail. And Q3, we will be concentrating on retail and corporate also. And
Yes, sir.
20,000 crores, the book which is already underwritten and to be disbursed very soon, that itself will give a credit growth of more than 7.5% going forward, book as a whole.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir. Thank you, sir. One last
Thank you
question,
very
sir. Can you tell me if there are any one-offs in this operating profit? Like you have the family pension, you may have the Shrey interest reversal, which would have taken place, or is there any depreciation related items which are there, which you have accounted for? How much of that amount is it? It will be great if you can give details of what the one-off items are.
As far as this time operating profit is concerned, there is no one-off item. It is a normal items only. As I said, whatever we got, we have accounted for.
No, sir,
And this
one-off
operating
which are-
profit,
No, sir, one-off in terms of expenditure.
sir, actually one-off expenditure, one-off item in expenditure, we have invested some amount in IT again, where we are where we are going for what we call data analytics and interest, Sri, there is a reversal of interest. Even then, we could maintain that interest income as stable.
So how much is that amount will be, sir? If I say what will be Shrey's reversal of interest income, so we know what is the real operating profit which the bank has made.
The interest reversal is to the tune of about 280 crores.
280 crores. And is there this family pension plan which has to be accounted for, which was not accounted for in last quarter? How much will that amount be, sir, in this quarter? Family pension plan provision?
250 crores already we have accounted for, which is the
Okay.
requirement.
So 250 crore is incremental, which was not there in last quarters. Family
Yes.
pension, right? So that's like 280 plus 250 crores.
Yes, as on date, we have taken care about family pension. We have taken care about the reversal of the interest of stray. In spite
Yes,
of all these things, we could still maintain a healthy growth in terms of interest income as well as operating profits.
Is there any depreciation in the asset or securities also which you have taken, sir, in this quarter, which is one-off?
Not much, sir, not significant.
Not significant. Okay. Okay, sir. Thank you so much, sir. All the very best. God bless you.
Thank
I
you.
think you are doing such a fabulous job. And finally, people are cheering up public sector banks. I'm quite confident there's a long way to go. All the very best. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Okay, thank you, sir. I would like to remind all the participants, please raise your hands to ask a question. Our next question is from the line of Mr. Rishi. So please unmute yourself and go ahead. Mr. Rishi? So please go ahead. Okay, I think there's some problem in the line. Jay Mundra, please go ahead and ask the question. Please unmute yourself.
Yeah, hi sir. Thanks for the opportunity. Hi sir.
Please.
Sir, I have a few questions. First is if you can reconcile what is the total outstanding restructuring number as of 2Q. So if I correct me if this understanding is wrong. So you have restructuring 1.0 of where the outstanding is 2,139 crore. Then there is restructuring 2.0 where there is the outstanding is around 13,700 something. And then you also have MSME restructuring, which is like 3,000 odd crores, right? So, and then there is some overlap between restructuring 1 and 2, which is like some 500 crores. So, should I add the 3 and reduce the overlap, or there is, I mean, is this calculation right?
Let me answer. First, resolution framework 1. It is 5,067 crores. Out of this 5,067 crores, more than 2,000 crores has been come out of the restructuring and is now in the regular accounts.
Right.
And the remaining 3,000, we can take it as it is under restructuring, still continuing.
Right.
Regarding the framework 2, 13,475, which we have restructured, out of which retail is 10,000, MSME is only 1,100 and agriculture is 1,300. But under framework 2, out of this 13,475, about 52% of the outstanding is under advance repayment period. They have availed restructuring, but they are paying the installment. That is, we are taking it as advance repayment period. So basically, if you have to calculate a restructuring, 48% of 13,475, maybe around 6,500 crores, plus 3,000 under resolution framework 1, that is about 9,000 crores. So total put together, I think the net figure will be around 10 to 10,500 crores.
Right. And of this 10,000 crores, sir, the corporate restructuring number is around 1,000. I mean, the majority
Initially, it was 4,287, out of which already 1,500 crores has been come out.
Right. So 2,700 crore is the corporate restructuring outstanding.
Yes, in framework one.
Right. Right. Okay. Because, sir, in your BSc table, it shows out of 2000 crore, 2100 crore, which is standard. After all this
Yes.
repayment and NPA, 1400 crore is corporate restructuring. Is
Correct.
that
The
right?
2000, as I said, 2000 crores, that is 2100. Now it is not under resolution framework one since it has fulfilled and come out of the resolution framework. So net balance, as I said, it is about out of 5,000, 3,000 is there.
Okay. And out of that 3000, 2700 crore is only corporate.
Yes, corporate in the sense, MSME is only 31 crores. It is not what you call a significant amount. Rest personal loan is 570, 596. In that
Right.
also a portion is upgraded.
Right. Understood, sir. Okay. And secondly, sir, on your CET1, right? So if I see your presentation, then the capital has CET1 core equity capital has increased by around 6,000 crore plus QOQ, of which 2,500 crores is anyway your QIP that you had done. But what explains the additional 3,500 crore increase in the capital?
Ramchandra.
Mainly because around see there is a June profit of 1,177 and the present profit of 1,333. It is around 2,400 plus because of the unlocking of capital by way of DTA. It has we have got around 1,500 and there are yeah, this is the major components.
Okay. So are you, sir, you are earlier I thought the bank was not taking the interim unaudited profit, but this CET1 of 10.01% includes the first half profit. Is that the understanding?
Yeah.
Here, one thing I would like to add: the Reserve Bank of India has given permission to Canara Bank to treat it the
Okay.
current profits also, a portion of that.
Okay. Understood. And sir, this capital unlocking of 1,500 crores from DTA, if you can explain, sir, how does this work? So, as and when you provide more accounting tax provisions, your DTA will be unlocked, right? Or for the next 2 quarters, if you hypothetically, if you maintain at the same PBT level, and let's say if you provide similar tax number, will there be further unlocking of this capital because of DTA thing?
Naturally, see the DTA to the extent of 10% we can taken under the CET1.
Right.
If there is any excess of that, any reduction in the DTA will result in unlocking of capital and increasing of CET1 capital.
Understood. And what is the outstanding DTA now, sir?
It is around 8,000.
Okay. Understood, sir. And last thing, sir, from my side on this accumulated loss from erstwhile syndicate bank, when do you, so while the accounting, so there are two things. One is you are still paying accounting tax, but you have an accumulated losses, and that is why you probably are not shifting to the new tax regime. So, by when do you think this should continue? As in, you can remain on the old tax regime, and may not pay tax. Is there any understanding, sir? There.
See, this carry forward loss can be availed up to 8 years. So, as on today, I do not have a tax liability to pay as per the income tax return. So, I see the first loss we have registered, say in 2018 up to 2026, first year profit loss itself is available. So, there is up to 2028, theoretically, we are capable of carrying forward these accumulated losses. However, we will not go because we are capable enough to come out of this, and by paying more tax and reducing the DTA is another process of strengthening the balance sheet, so that whenever we want, we can stick to this. We can shift to this new tax regime to have that comfort. Also, this is one of the thought process of making more provision of tax.
Right. So, when do you intend to shift to the new tax regime, sir? Is it like in the next 1 year, or maybe beyond 1 year?
Maybe 1 to 2 years. Whenever we feel that if we are if we are confident that with the same tempo of our progressive growth, it is not far away.
Understood. Thank you so much, sir. I will come back in the queue. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. I'll request all the participants, if you wish to ask a question, please do so by raising your hand. Our next question is from the line of Mr. Ashok. So please unmute yourself and go ahead.
Yes, sir. Good evening and
Yeah,
congratulations
good evening, sir.
on the set of our and G and J are of the questions. We are not talking about 5 minutes. But,
Mr. Ashok, I would
Sir,
request you to
sir.
please turn off your video. I think there is a bandwidth issue. So please turn off your video so that your voice is clear.
okay, I will do it. All right. Yes. Is it okay now? Is it okay
Please
now?
ask. Yes, sir.
Yeah, it's okay.
Sir, most of the questions have already been answered. I have got just a couple of questions and observations.
Please.
That, sir, this in case of our DHFL recovery, we have also received the bond in addition to the cash.
Sir, we stop video.
What treatment to this has been given as the reference?
Sir, we lost you, sir.
So your voice is breaking. I would request you to please reconnect.
Is it okay now?
Yes, sir.
So, sir, what I was asking that
Please
the
go ahead.
DHFL recovery,
Yeah. Shall
part
we
of the
answer
amount we have received in
regarding the
cash and
bonds?
part in the bond from Piramal, I suppose it is 10-year bond. So what treatment has been given to, what is the quantum of the amount of the bond and what treatment we have given in the accounts as regard the reversal of the provision? Because it was 100% return of account.
Sir, it is like this, that the bond, because ours was a loan account, so naturally the loan has to be adjusted, and we have taken that amount of bond now as an investment. So that is the treatment what we have done. So roughly around 900 was the bond and about 700 was the cash recovery. So total about 1700. So because the loan account got credited by creating an investment, so the cash recovery is total shown as 1725 or 30.
So
Like that we have treated.
So the entire 1700 has been taken as the profit in this quarter.
Yes,
Isn't
yes. As a cash recovery.
No. What I am asking is that 900 crore of the bond which you received, according to you, you have put it in the investment. Have you provided for anything on that investment? Why reversing the
Yes,
provision
yes.
which you had?
No,
It is considered as a normal investment and the MTM depreciation has been provided.
because
as per this.
it is a new entity who has made this investment. It is not DHFL, so provision is not required. So because it is Piramal who has invested, so no provision was required as such.
So
And DHFL is not a technically written off account. Suppose there is no question of taking into the operating portion of the profit of the bank.
So this 900 crore bond, which is 10-year bond from Piramal, this you have taken at par in the value as far as the investment book is concerned, isn't it?
Yes.
And due MTM depreciation has been provided for.
Yeah, that's what I am asking. How much MTM
Yeah.
depreciation has been provided?
Yeah, that individual account wise, I may not have the detail. We will come back.
So it is a
But all
specific
due
account, sir.
due M2M
But anyway,
due
no
M2M
issue.
provisions have been done there.
Yeah. Anyway, sir.
But the treatment was like this, like I told you.
Okay, sir. All right. Sir, as regard note number 7, all the accumulated losses have been adjusted against the premium of about, I think, 17,000 crore or 18,000 crore. So all the accumulated losses have been adjusted against the premium, or still anything is pending?
No, sir, as on day, we don't have any accumulated loss and balance of accumulated loss is nil.
All right, sir. My next question is, sir, that this commission income from PSLC of 909 crores, which we received in last 6 months in the last 2 quarters. And since we have a very good book on the priority sector, is this phenomena is going to continue for the next 2 quarters of the year? Can we treat the similar kind of income in the next 2 quarters, sir?
See, next 2 quarters, we cannot treat the same amount of what you call processing charges or commission we'll be getting, but still we have a scope of about 10 to 12,000 crores of book, which we can what you call sell as PSLC certificates.
So it amounts to, I mean, 909 crore we have already taken now. So in the whole year,
Yes.
approximately how much can we consider?
I think if the demand is good, we'll be crossing about 1100 crores.
Okay. So now only a small amount of 200 crore more.
Yeah. But here the beauty is PSLC certificates again next year, again I can sell it, total amount.
That is okay.
So I have a scope of earning again 1000 to 1100 to 1200 crores in FY23 also.
Yes. That's yes, sir. Sir, you said that your fee income was very good because you underwritten some big ticket loan. But as you yourself answered some time back, the corporate book, if you see, has not grown in this quarter. So whether those amount of 20,000 crore you are saying you underwritten, so fees has already been collected on that pending disbursement?
In majority of the cases, since we have handed over the sanction letter, fee has been collected.
And that is why the income has come in this quarter.
And the sanctions will continue in this current quarter also. So the flow of fee-based income will be going. And now the corporates who are not earlier banking with Canara Bank, now they are very much interested to start banking relationship with Canara Bank, which is a very good trend which we are seeing.
So I believe, sir, you started considering the construction loan for the residential to the builders and some of those areas where earlier for last 2 years loans were not generally welcome. So is that the bank is going aggressive on because your NBFC book also has increased considerably. So
Here, let me tell you, one thing is we are aggressive in HAM projects, we are aggressive in steel financing, cement, textiles, and health sector. Health sector already we have a sanctions about 5,500 crores, and the disbursement is about 2,300 crores. Still, there is a scope of disbursement. And as far as the real estate sector is concerned, we are calculatedly taking the exposure where real estate home loans scope is there. In the sense, real estate residential is there. Because as you see, our housing loan, we are growing at 14%. So suppose if I finance a real estate project, residential one, I will get raw material for housing loan financing, and that particular loan will be liquidated automatically.
yes.
So in that angle, we are concentrating where the project is RERA compliant and where we see that the promoters are strong and the project will be completed well in time. There we are very happy to take exposures.
Yes, sir. My last question, sir, in this round is that first phase of the restructuring. Out of that, how much has slipped into NPA? I mean, in absolute terms, how much was done and how much is slipped into NPA?
Less than 50 crores.
Only 50.
Yes, less than. It
Less
is
than.
around 38 or 40.
Okay.
Okay, sir. Thank you very much. And if time permits,
Thank
I'll
you.
come back.
Thank you,
Thank
sir. Our next question is from the line of Mr. Sridhar Sriram. So please unmute yourself and go ahead.
Yeah, thank you, sir. This is Sridhar from Enam. I have two
Yes,
questions.
Sridhar.
One is on your pre-provision profit guidance for the year. Is it fair to expect around 24,000 crores pre-provision profit for the current year? And my other question is on the provisioning itself. What sort of provisioning number should we expect for this year? And maybe if you can guide a little bit for the next year also.
As far as OP is concerned, as on date, you are seeing that it is 5,500 plus. And last quarter also, we have done very well. So if you if and one more thing is the way in which we are building up our loan book and also increasing focus on recovery. I think going forward in the coming 2 quarters, I think we should be doing better than what we did in the Q1 and Q2. So naturally, as you expect, 24,000 crores, I think that should not be a big issue.
Right.
The way in which the trend is going on.
Sure.
And provisions, as you have seen during the current quarter, we have made 2,200 crores additional provisioning. For example, Shrey itself, instead of 15%, we made 50% provision. That means we are taking care about the future positions in the current quarters. So our strategy of making aggressive provisions will continue. At the same time, taking care about the other parameters also.
So when will we see a normalization? Is it fair to expect a 4-digit provisioning number next year?
I think as on date also, I think it is on track to that figure.
Okay. Because annualized number works to about, say, around 14,000 odd crores provisioning for this year. So maybe we can expect somewhere in the 9,000-10,000 range next year.
Sir, here one more point is there. Even though we are making 14,000 crores provision, by the end of the year, out of this, 3,000 to 4,000 crores provisioning may be netted off because of the recoveries.
Okay.
So that process is going on. So in a cumulative term, Q1 plus Q2 plus Q3 plus Q4 may look like that. But at the end of the year, if you see the absolute netted off figure, that will come down.
Okay. So my last question on this 40% tax provisioning to help your capital. Given that you're also raising capital from the market and we report the profits by providing higher tax, this also impacts the value creation in the markets. So my suggestion would be from next year onwards, if you could come to normalize tax rates, that will help some sort of certainty amongst investors to gauge what sort of tax rates you will be providing, and it can help in future capital raising also.
Yes, we agree with you. We are open to that suggestion also, and we are working in that direction also, sir.
Thanks a lot.
But only it is a matter of time.
Sure.
Only it is a matter of time when we will take that decision.
So, but if you could guide the market in advance, so that we are not always wondering whether it will be 40 or 25. So it will help if that sort of guidance on tax rate, which is not it's a certain number. It's not. I'm not asking you to guide for some number about profit or something else where there are a lot of other parameters. This is a more certain number, and if you can at least tell us 1 or 2 quarters in advance, it will help us to gauge some expectations in the market.
Yes, sir. Going forward, definitely we will come up with that clarification.
Thanks a lot, sir.
Thank you.
Best of luck.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
To answer Mr. Ajmera's question about mark to market in those bonds, it is around 200 crores and already provided for.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Our next question is from the line.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Mr. Zingoa. So please unmute yourself and.
Hey, thanks so much for the opportunity. Sorry, I joined late, so my question might have been answered. Just out of the slippages of about 7,000 crores, how much of that is related to Shrey?
It is 3,200 crores, sir.
Oh, cool. Thanks. And then out of the cash recoveries of 3,000 crores, how much is that one?
It is about 1,700 crores.
Got it. That's all. Thank you so much. Sorry about it.
Thank you, sir. And one more point, sir, regarding the Shrey. Out of this 3,200, we made already 50% provision. 50.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Our next question is from the line of Mr. Aditya Singhania. So please unmute yourself.
Thank you. Good afternoon, sir. This is Aditya Singhania from ENAM. I just wanted to clarify a couple of things on the Diwan accounting. So, sir, what was the total exposure we had, and if you could sort of tell me whether it was in the form of bonds or loans?
Okay. We had about 3,600 crore in the form of loan, about 3,385 in the form of investments, right? So that
Okay.
was the original thing. Out of that, what I said was around 1,700 odd crores we received.
Right.
So we still have a book liability where, because our liability towards the guarantor still exists. So that thing we are still keeping alive. So about 1950 crores is their liability, which we are attributing towards the guarantors. So that, a call will be taken as to how and when we are going to take action against them.
Sorry, if you could explain this guarantor thing, I did not know this aspect.
These are, first of all, these are 100% provided, so no fresh provision is required. But in our books, this amount still exists, and we want to keep it alive for the simple fact that the liability of the guarantors also we are invoking. So that part is still there, but so far as DHFL, Piramal, this issue is concerned, it is closed.
So, is there a recovery possible on this 1950 crores?
We will definitely try. As a consortium, we will definitely try.
Who is the guarantor, sir, in this case, if I may understand?
The promoters are there.
Okay. This is personal guarantees.
Personal guarantee, yeah.
Okay. And so, sir, just to understand the accounting, I'll be a little confused. This 1,700 crores of cash recoveries, that has been taken in the PNL, right?
Yes, that has been taken as a cash recovery
Right.
for our loan accounts to the extent of 1,700 odd crores.
Right. And
That is
this
what
was
I tried
not
to explain.
Yeah. And this was not written off earlier. This was a 100% provisioned account.
It is a 100% provisioned account. Yes.
Okay. So the 1,700 comes in the form of cash recovery, out of which, as you
Yes.
explained, 900 has been credited to bonds as an investment. And on
Yes.
that, you have made a 200 odd crore mark to market provision.
Yes, exactly. It is actually exactly 191 crores which we have provided.
Okay. And sir, so what could not understand that, Chairman mentioned that you have made in total 2,200 crore further provision using this. So if you could just explain that aspect.
So regarding this 2,200 crores aggressive provision which we have done is, instead of 15%, we did 50%. Accordingly, in other accounts also, we have done additional provisioning so that Q3 can be taken care without much difficulty.
Right. So additional means in addition to RBI mandate.
Exactly. In addition to regulatory requirement, 2,200 crores additional provisioning we have made.
Right. And so all of this is part of 2678, which is provision for NPAs, plus what is 475 in others, sir?
That is regarding the RBI Resolution 2 framework, under which we have restructured. To that, some amount has been done.
Okay. So that is against that, right?
Yes.
Right. No, thank you, sir. That's very clear. Just a second question I had on the DTA. So we understood that the DTA outstanding now is 8,000 crores.
Yeah, around.
Okay. So how much of that is not getting allocated to CET1 right now, sir?
Almost around 2,000.
Okay. So 2,000 crores of further tax provisions in the books, hopefully in the next 2 quarters, will be added to CET1 as it gets used.
Yeah, scope is available for us to augment the capital by way of that.
I understand. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Our next question is from the line of Mr. Rishi. So please unmute yourself and go ahead.
Hello?
Yes, please.
Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, please. You are audible.
Oh, yeah. Hi, sir. Hi, sir. So, I just wanted a clarification. So earlier when you were talking about provisions, so for this year, are we going to take provisions at around 14,000 crores?
Sir, again, as I said, every quarter we are making provisions, but during the year, where we recover the amount from these accounts, to that extent, provision will come down. So cumulative at the end of the year, I think it will be around 10,000 crores to 11,000 crores. It will not be more than that.
Okay. Okay, that works. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Our next question is from the line of Mr. Rakesh Kumar. So please unmute yourself and go ahead. Mr. Rakesh?
Yeah, am I audible now?
Yes, please.
Yes, please.
Hi, sir. Thanks a lot for the
Hello.
opportunity. So just one question. We had close to 10,000 crore of total net DTA as on March end. And now we have close to 8,000 crores. So just to understand the moment of this DTA and DTL. So basically, like the investment depreciation provision, what we have made, we would have got some, some DTL we would have got because of that. And if there is a provision right back because this because of this DHFL thing, so that would DTA number.
Hello.
But if that understanding is correct, just let me know. And going ahead, as we say that NPA provision would be higher, so that would again lead to high DTA number. So and which will get deducted from the CET for the calculation.
Sir,
Correct.
opting for DTA or not is a bank decision. If we are that is why we are. This is the providing more tax is the strengthening of the balance sheet. As long as I am making the profit, I need not go for a DTA. It is an accounting window available to the banks. It is not a compulsory. It is an optional.
No, that I understood, sir. Just I'm asking that the moment of DTA from 10,400 odd crore from March end to 8,000 crore to September end. So this has this number has come down by around 2,400 crore. This is because of the reversal of NPA provision and because of the investment depreciation provision that we have made. Correct.
So there are different reasons for reduction of DTA. See, when we are paying the more tax and the provision also NPA is also reduced, all this argument is resulted in the reduction of DTA. There is only the two components. There are 7-8 components which we are taking into account while calculating the income tax provision. So all of this has led to the resulted in the reduction of DTA, sir.
Okay. Okay, sir. Okay. Thanks a lot, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Our next question is from the line of Mr. Deepak Lalwani. So please unmute yourself and go ahead.
Hi, sir. Thank you for the opportunity. Sir, the restructuring number in retail looks a bit high, 10,000 crores on a book of 1,20,000 crores. So where is this restructuring primarily coming from? Is it vehicle, home loans, or mortgages?
In this major portion, the home loan people have availed this facility. But as you see the slide, 52% of these people have started paying in advance. So basically, the housing loan people during the COVID time, they thought that this is a good window, and we also encouraged them, and they have utilized the facility. However, now they have started paying their installments in advance. So it is basically major portion is under housing.
Got it, sir. And sir, if you could, highlight how much of the retail book is salaried and non-salaried?
Basically, our retail book, more than 85% is salaried only.
Okay, got it. And sir, in the agri book, is it entirely backed by gold or?
No. It is a combination of investment credit, KCC, and also backed by gold, backed by agricultural land, mortgaged. It is a combination of everything, and that constitutes about 1,61,000 crores.
Right. So, how much would be secured in the agri book, backed by gold or backed by the land of the farmer?
It is 82,000 crores.
Okay. Okay, got it. And so, lastly, on the restructuring number, do you see any further restructuring accounts in the pipeline?
No, now it is closed. Now there is whoever opted, we have sanctioned, and no pending issues are available.
And on the entire book, we carry the minimum 10% coverage, right?
Yes.
Right. Okay. Thank you, sir. That's it.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Our next question is from the line of Mr. Jay Mundra. So please unmute yourself and go ahead.
Yeah, hi sir. Thanks for the opportunity. Sir, I have few.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good
Yes.
afternoon. Sir, one is, there was an RBI master circular that said that you have to, there was a reclassification of other income, recovery from write-off, recovery from, return of accounts from other income to netting of provisions. And I think even IDBI Bank has done that, and I think other private banks and other banks have also done. So we seem to have not done that. Have you? I mean, do you plan to do that in coming quarters, or that is up to the bank to do or not do?
This RBI circular is really speaking on the format of the balance sheet, which is to be disclosed at the end of the March financial year. However, one or two investment depreciation and dividend on investments all we have taken into account. Recovery and the return of the major banks, even the major private sector banks are also taking under the operating profit, other income only. So let us see, boss. There are another 2 quarters. We will take a call on that in accordance with the other banks' decisions.
Okay, understood, sir. And
there is no impact on net profit.
Right. Okay. And secondly, if you can, so out of let's say 7,000 crore, 3,200 crore is one account. If you can bifurcate, sir, corporate, retail, MSME, agri, the slippages for the quarter.
Out of the remaining 3,200 to 3,300, 1,000 is in agriculture, about 1,000 is in MSME, and remaining it consists of corporate and retail.
Yeah. So how much would be, sir, retail?
Retail, it is about 300 to 350 crores.
Okay, understood. And sir, out of your non-PCR provisions, what is the stock of non-PCR provisions which we are holding, including restructured provisions or any other, or do we have any COVID buffer which is not restructured, not NPA provisions?
No, we don't have.
Right. What is the total restructuring provisions that we have, sir? I mean, stock?
Around 1,900 crores.
1,900 crores.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. And the last thing, sir, we have mentioned SMA 1, 2, and we have been reporting this number for quite some period now. This is CRILC reporting. If you were to put the number below 5 crore also, I mean, broadly, how much would that number be, sir, including below 5 crore number?
See, it will be including less than 5 crores. It will be around 3%.
3% of the total book.
Yeah.
This would be SMA 2 only, or sorry, so
it is 1 and it is 2.
Okay, 1 plus 2 put together would be.
It will be including less than 5 crores and above 5 crores. It is about 3%.
Right. So the current number which we have, SMA 1 plus 2 is, let's say 1%, it will be 3% roughly.
So above 5 crores, it is about 9.98%, and below it will be about 2.1%.
Understood. Great, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Our next question is from the line of Mr. Abhijit. So please unmute yourself and go ahead.
Yeah, good afternoon, sir. Couple of questions. One is, sir, I missed the comment on the family pension impact. If you can explain what was the impact this quarter and what should be the run rate on the staff cost going ahead.
The family pension per month on an average only 10 to 12 crores outflow of funds may be there. However, IBA has permitted us to RBI has permitted us to staggering over the 5 years. As a prudent manager, we have made around 200 crores provision this quarter. Though the payment is not started because the approval from the board and other authorities is also required. But we have made a provision of around 250 crores towards the family pension and NPS.
Okay, this is going towards the corpus creation, right?
Yes, exactly.
Okay,
Other
and
than NPS.
what would be that corpus on the current base of employees? What's the
Maybe around 800 to 900 crores for the. It may be around 800 to 900 crores only for the family pension. To be staggered over 5 years, that is a window available for us.
So 900 crores over 5 years, that's the net impact.
It's available for the banks, whether to avail or not, depends.
Got it. Second one is you mentioned that about 2,000 crores of restructured loans have come out of the 5,000 crores in the first pool of restructuring. So wanted to understand that as in we thought that there is some criteria around repayment behavior being established for a couple of years after which you can upgrade the account. So not sure how we have reduced the pool of restructuring there.
These accounts amounting to about 2,100 crores, so they satisfied the condition, because of which it has come out from the restructuring tag.
Okay, what would be these conditions, sir?
That will come back.
As per the RBI guidelines.
And these are retail accounts?
No, it is a mixture of that.
Okay. And last question is, sir, some comment on the overseas loan book where growth rates have been higher than what we are seeing on the domestic side. So where is it coming from? Which sectors?
See, actually, if you see 1.5 years ago, we have shrunk our loan book as far as overseas is concerned because of COVID and other reasons. But now, once the economy is growing outside India, we thought that we should have a growth in the credit also. And basically, we are going for syndication of loans. And these loans are all high rated. Because of that, now we thought that the loan book has to be increased. And we are projecting that in overseas will be growing more than 10%.
These are like ECBs or what kind of loans are these, sir?
Combination of everything.
Oh. Indian promoters.
Basically, instead of solo financing, we are going for syndication.
Got it. That will be all. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. We'll take one last question from the line of Mr. Sohail Halai. Sohail, please unmute yourself and go ahead. Mr. Sohail?
Hello.
Yes, sir.
Good evening, sir, and thanks a lot for the opportunity for hosting it.
Good evening.
So 3 questions, 2 from the P&L point of view and 1 from the asset quality point of view. So if I look at our CD ratio, it is at still 66%, that is including gross loans. So first, how far are you in terms of raising the deposit rate even if the liquidity tightens? Second, in terms of, in this perspective, what is your outlook in terms of the margin going forward as you leverage more in terms of your balance sheet?
As far as credit growth is concerned, yes, today we are at 66% plus, whereas growth under retail, which constitutes about 43%, it is growing at more than 10%, 9%. So that will continue. Now the issue is how to increase the ratio by taking exposure in the corporate. Because in the last 2 quarters and before that, the corporates are very careful and the bankers are also very, very careful in underwriting the corporate loans because of the pandemic issues. Now we see a lot of traction as far as the corporate loans are concerned. So we feel that with the loan book, which we have already underwritten about 20,000 crores, plus the fresh financing which we are going to do, I think corporate will also grow at a rate of more than 7.5%. Retail growing more than 10%. So I think this percentage will be increasing to maybe 69.
Okay, and its consequent impact on margins. Are you looking at subsidizing some of these loans and your yields will come off, or basically you will go for the margins?
Margin going forward, I think it will increase. Why I'm telling is, as on date, we are having a margin of about 2.72%. And next quarter, we are hopeful that we should be able to cross 2.80%. The way in which we are underwriting the proposals and the interest income which we are earning, I think 2.8% next quarter will be comfortably achieving.
Okay. So, so just clarifying. So, in terms of from the growth perspective, you would not be compromising on the yield part of it, right?
See, it is a balance. If the account is rated AAA, naturally the yield on advances I have to compromise to some extent because AAA people will not pay. So we'll have a combination of BBB, A, AA, and AAA also. So that at the end of the day, we'll be in a position to have a good margin.
And sir, in this, one more thing that I note is basically in terms of your other or your OPEX, that has been flat from the last 5 quarters onwards. So, do you think what is the kind of a cost growth that one should build in? If the growth and whenever the growth comes back, because this could give you the benefits of operating leverage as well.
Corporate, sir, the growth which I am projecting is, it will be more than 6 to 7.5%.
No, sir, I was talking about more of on the OPEX side that has been flat from the last 5 quarters.
Yeah,
operating expenses.
Yeah.
So, what is the cost kind of a cost growth that we could actually should build?
Yes, we are answering.
Yeah, bank has been taking a lot of measures post amalgamation, lot of cost cutting measures, which is basically the synergy. As a result of that, rental savings is there, and employee cost also savings is there due to retirement and adjustment of employees in different specialty verticals. So, and during COVID time, we have also found that wherever rental agreement has come for renewal, there is a reduction as compared to earlier position where there has to be increase, steep increase. So thereby our cost, what you have said, OPEX has remained overall stable. So we expect this it to go in the same manner, maybe 5% to 10% increase may be there going forward. But this is the pattern.
Actually, we are taking advantage of the present market conditions in the real estate sector, the low rates, demand for the commercial spaces. No, so whatever the existing or 12,000 leased premises, we are renegotiated, and many of those things we are at a much lower price, and we are blocking for next 10 to 15 years. So there we are saving a lot of money cumulatively. Numbers I don't want to disclose it, but there is a considerable amount we are saving that. That way we are controlling our operating expenses, but simultaneously just we are strategically some part of that we are reinvesting in our IT area, where we want to bring it the younger generation to close to our bank. That's why we are revamping our existing mobile app also, and many such things, data dump analytics and all latest technology we are introducing it. So some part of that what we are saving through this real estate or whatever the lease rentals and all other things, or even synergy. Actually, we are almost closed 800 branches because of the last 1 year, and we are planning to close wherever the possibilities are there in the next financial year also to some extent to take the advantage of synergy. We already got almost 140 crores in the IT sector also for the last 1 year. Like that in the real estate sector also is we have got 200 to 250 crores benefit this is synergies. So these are all we are continuous basis, and we are quarter to quarter we are working on that. And part of that in the strategically we are implementing in the IT, so that we can revamp our IT sector, so that we are coming out with 150 new features in the mobile app.
And sir, final question, basically more of in terms of the ECGLS. So any disbursement made during the quarter, the outstanding book, and the portfolio behavior in terms of the ECGLS book that you are looking at right now?
See, ECGLS book is very good, and during the current quarter we have disbursed about 180 crores, and put together total my emergency credit line book is about 11,044 crores. and this book is doing good.
So entire book has started paying, or the part of it has started paying off?
See, actually, this is 20% of the outstanding which we had. So this 20% installment moratorium is also there, and where moratorium is not there, they have started paying. But however, delinquencies we observe very negligible in this particular vertical.
So, sir, on that 80%, the normal principal and interest that are getting paid?
Here, 100% plus 20%, it is 120.
Yeah. So on that 100%?
Regular account, unless until regular account is paid, otherwise both will become NPA.
Okay, understood. So only on this 20% it is the moratorium, rest is actually paying off on a continued manner.
Yes,
and
exactly.
So final question, we have a very large pool of technical write-off still at around 60,000 crores. So any view on that in terms of how do we look at the recoveries coming from that portion?
Actually, if you take that total portfolio of technically written off accounts, most of it are in NCLT. Most of these accounts are in NCLT. So yes, gradually one or the other big accounts are getting cracked. So we expect some recovery, and then moreover, you see our this Q2 results here also. This technically written off accounts also, we have made a lot of recovery, about 700 crores. So they are also, they are bigger accounts, there are smaller accounts also in this category. So though the bigger accounts fall under NCLT mostly, the smaller accounts, we are getting steady recovery. Over the quarter, we are getting that as you are witnessing. Now, so far as the other bigger accounts where we have not gone to NCLT or some other measures are being taken, we are following up for OTS also. We are open for that. So these are the measures which we are taking, and on a quarter-to-quarter basis, we are getting dividends out of that. We are getting the recoveries. That is how we propose to continue.
And during the current quarter, as our executive director is telling, 715 crores have been recovered from the written off accounts. And this quarter, we are targeting about 1,000 crores to be recovered from the written off accounts.
And so plans for this national ARC transfer, how much have we actually kept it out? And if you could just share how the accounting treatment would be done of those?
We have identified to the tune of about 4,000 crores, which can be transferred.
And that entire thing, whatever the recovery is, will come into the P&L?
Yes. Not P&L, provision will be written back.
Right.
Because those accounts are not written off accounts, they are 100% provided for.
Okay. And if it is a written off account, then it would come in the other income line, right?
Exactly.
Thanks a lot, sir.
Thank
all
you.
The best.
Thank you very much.
With that, as we are running out of time, I would like to end the conference here. Thank you so much, team from Canara Bank, especially MD Sir, CEO, and all the executive directors. On behalf of Ethnic Stockbroking, I'd like to thank you all, and thank you all participants for joining in. Have a great evening. Bye.
Bye. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.